Cooper Flagg made history in a way that many might not know. As the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft, Coop became the first American-born white player to go first overall in 48 years. Yeah, you heard that right. The last time an American-born white player went first in the NBA draft was in 1977, when the Milwaukee Bucks selected Kent Benson. And let's not forget, this was in a league that didn't yet have a three-point line, and a league where legends like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird hadn't even entered the NBA. The game was in a completely different era. And since then, basketball has evolved dramatically. New styles, new stars, global expansion, every generation has reshaped what greatness looks like. And somewhere along the way, the idea of a white American star leading the league became rare. Not impossible, but nearly forgotten. The wave of franchise players and number 1 overall picks became hyper-athletic guards or international bigs with freakish size and skill. Over the past 2 decades, names like Yao Ming, LeBron, Dwight Howard, Blake Griffin, AD, Zion, and Victor Wembanyama fit the mold of true franchise players. White American players over this time weren't leading franchises anymore. Many were seen as elite role players, but when it came to that number 1 overall spot, the guy you build around, that door looked closed until a teenager from Newport, Maine kicked it wide open. Newport isn't exactly a basketball factory. It's a small, quiet town of around 3,000 people. No prep schools, no shoe-sponsored AAU programs, no history of pumping out Division I athletes, let alone NBA prospects. But it's where Cooper Flagg was born, on December 21st, 2006, and it's where the blueprint for the most unlikely number 1 pick in modern NBA history began. Flagg's parents, Ralph and Kelly, both played basketball. His mother starred at the University of Maine and still ranks among the top rebounders in school history. His father played at Eastern Maine Community College. They weren't pushing him to be a star, they just gave him the foundation to love the game of basketball, and that love turned into obsession. From the moment Cooper started playing organized basketball, it was clear something was different. He wasn't just bigger or taller than the other kids, he saw the game differently. He understood angles, he anticipated plays, and he never stopped moving. By the time he reached Nokomis Regional High School, Flagg was already becoming a local legend, but his freshman season turned that local buzz into something much bigger. He averaged 20.5 points, 10 rebounds, 6.2 assists, 3.7 steals, and 3.7 blocks per game as a freshman. He led Nokomis to a 21-1 record and their first ever state championship. And for the first time in state history, a freshman was named Maine Gatorade Player of the Year. But Cooper knew Maine wasn't going to prepare him for what came next. The competition wasn't enough. The spotlight wasn't bright enough. So after just 1 year, he left the state behind and transferred to Montverde Academy, the top high school basketball program in the country. It was the first big step out of anonymity and into history. Montverde Academy is an NBA factory where 5-star dreams go to either sharpen or shatter. Located in Florida, it's not just a school, it's a machine. A place where future pros play against each other every single day. Alumni include Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, D'Angelo Russell, and the list goes on and on. So when Cooper Flagg showed up for his sophomore year, there was no guarantee he'd even see the floor. But instead of getting lost in the noise, Flagg immediately proved he belonged. Even as the youngest player on the roster, he carved out a role, averaging 9.8 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 3 assists per game against the toughest high school competition in the entire country. His numbers didn't pop off the page, but his presence did. Then came the 2023 Hoop Hall Classic, where he dropped 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 5 steals in a nationally televised win over La Lumiere. He was named MVP, and just like that, Cooper Flagg was a household name. But it was the summer of 2023 that changed everything. Most top prospects joined shoe-sponsored super teams for AAU seasons. Cooper went back home, and suited up for Maine United, a scrappy squad with no national reputation. And he dominated. On the 16U Nike EYBL circuit, Flagg averaged 26.9 points, 11.9 rebounds, 4.7 assists, and 4.5 blocks per game. Then came Peach Jam, the most competitive AAU tournament in the world. NBA scouts sitting courtside, national media watching every possession. And over a 3-game stretch, Flagg went absolutely ballistic. He averaged 34.7 points, 16 rebounds, and 10.7 blocks. That's not a typo. He literally averaged a triple-double with blocks. And he did it without superstar teammates. No hype machine, no agenda, just production. Just winning. That summer, he reclassified from the class of 2025 to 2024 and still maintained his spot as the #1 overall player in the country. At this point, it was no longer about potential. Cooper Flagg had officially become the most dominant high school player in America, and the race to draft him had already begun. There's a difference between being the best high school player in the country and walking into Duke University as a freshman and owning the program from day one. But that's exactly what Cooper Flagg did. The moment he stepped on campus in Durham, expectations were sky high. Duke hadn't had a freshman this hyped since Zion Williamson. And the question on everyone's mind was the same. Is he really built for this? It didn't take long to find out. Flagg opened the season with a complete performance against his home state school, the University of Maine. He blocked shots, ran the floor, hit threes, and showed off a feel for the game that made him look like a junior, not a kid playing in his first college game. Then, he just kept getting better. Over the course of the season, Flagg led the team in nearly every major statistical category, averaging 19.6 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 2.4 blocks, 1.8 steals, 49.7% shooting from the field, and 38.2% from three. He wasn't just Duke's best scorer or their defensive anchor, he was their everything. In January, he dropped 42 points against Notre Dame, the most ever by a freshman in both Duke and ACC history. By season's end, he'd earned ACC Player of the Year, ACC Freshman of the Year, ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and a record-breaking 11 ACC Rookie of the Week awards. And most importantly, he won. Flagg led Duke to a 28-3 regular season, an ACC championship, and a run to the Final Four. And he did it while playing team-first basketball, defending 1 through 5, and making his teammates better. He didn't chase headlines, he earned them. He didn't force shots, he made the right ones. He didn't need the spotlight, it found him anyway. And maybe most impressively, he did it his way. No theatrics, no over-the-top bravado, just production, poise, and complete control. By March, it was clear. This wasn't just the best freshman in college basketball, this was the #1 pick in the upcoming NBA draft. And the drought of 48 years without a white American going first overall was about to end. There have been plenty of top prospects over the years. Explosive scorers, freak athletes, skilled wings, defensive specialists. But Cooper Flagg, he doesn't fit into any one category because he checks every single box. He's a rare blend of old school toughness and modern versatility. A 6'9" forward who guards all 5 positions, protects the rim like a center, switches onto guards like a wing, initiates offense like a point forward, and plays with the discipline of a vet. His feel for the game is next level. It's not just about the highlights, it's the reads. Not just about the hustle plays, it's the rotations. And it's not just raw skill, it's the timing. He doesn't just play the game, he understands it at a level most players never reach. And that's what makes him different. Flagg isn't loud, he doesn't talk much, he doesn't chase viral moments. But watch a full game and you'll see why scouts are calling him one of the smartest players they've ever evaluated. He doesn't waste movement, he doesn't force shots, he makes the right basketball decision every single possession. He's wired to win, and not just in box scores, but in the intangibles that don't show up on the stat sheet. The closest comparisons? On defense, it's Kevin Garnett. He has a motor that never stops, elite instincts, and the ability to anchor a unit. As a playmaker, it's LeBron, not because he's that level yet, but because he sees passes before they open. Offensively, he also has shown shades of Jason Tatum, but more efficient and team-oriented as a decision-maker. But more than comps or stats, what really makes Flagg stand out is what he represents. He didn't grow up in any NBA pipeline. He didn't go viral at 13. He came from a small town, ignored the noise, and outplayed everyone in his class. Not with flash, but with substance. Cooper Flagg isn't a reaction to the modern game, he's the evolution of it. And in a league that had almost forgotten what a white American superstar could look like, Flagg didn't try to fit the mold. He became the mold. Cooper Flagg becoming the #1 overall pick isn't just about individual success, it's a cultural moment. For nearly 5 decades, the idea of a white American player leading an NBA franchise felt like something from a bygone era. Not because of a lack of effort, but because the league had simply evolved in a different direction. The mold for a #1 pick had changed. Teams wanted size, athleticism, and often international pedigree. Meanwhile, white American players became less and less visible in the spotlight. Not absent, but rarely center stage. So now the question isn't whether Cooper Flagg has the talent. We've already seen that. The real question is, what happens next? Can he carry an NBA franchise? Can he thrive under the pressure of being the #1 pick? Can he redefine how we view American basketball talent for the next generation? No one knows for sure, but one thing is certain. He's already made history. Cooper Flagg did something no white American has done in nearly 50 years, not just by getting drafted first, but by doing it his way. He stayed true to his game, he didn't chase clout, he didn't play politics, he just produced at every level. And now the league has no choice but to take notice. Whether you're a fan, a scout, a coach, or a kid from a small town, Flagg's story is proof that greatness can come from anywhere. But what do you think? Is Cooper Flagg ready to live up to the hype? Will he become the next face of the league, or is this just the start of something even bigger? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives on the future of basketball, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell so you never miss an upload. We'll see you in the next one.